In the Oklahoman newsroom, this is an OSU update. I'm Jenny Carlson here with Kyle Fredrickson. Kyle, as the Cowboys get ready for their Alamo Bowl on December 29th against Colorado, a point of emphasis this year in running the ball better has been the Cowboy back position. No doubt that those guys have been central to that improved run game and their blocking. There's usually one on the field at least, and sometimes two. One of the more important guys in that role has been Zac Veatch, but his story to get to this point is a little bit unconventional. He's not exactly been the obvious Cowboy back out there, right?
Yeah, Zac Veatch is a local guy, Broken Arrow. This is his senior year, so the Colorado game again in the Alamo Bowl will be his final at OSU. But yeah, a career that's been pretty interesting. The fact that he gets recruited to OSU as sort of a possible tight end prospect, but quickly transitions to the offensive line, starting 10 games in 2014, and then really reversing roles once again just these past couple seasons with the introduction of the Cowboy back, becoming more of a pass catcher as well as a run blocker in this offense, and really showcasing a type of versatility that the Cowboys needed to establish this position, a little bit of selflessness and being okay with changing spots like that. But for Veatch, it was a physical transformation, having to gain the weight to be an offensive lineman, going back and skinnying up again. Definitely put his body through a lot to have his chance.
Well, obviously he's a tight end when he arrives, and OSU kind of filtered away from the tight end role, as did a lot of teams in the Big 12 during that time. So he sort of ate his way onto the offensive line, but he always sort of, I would assume, had the desire to catch a few passes. And so how does he feel about all of this?
Well, he gets as excited as any former lineman would about catching a pass, and that's what's kind of cool about this story. We've seen multiple position guys before. I mean, going through the list, Cooper Bassett came into OSU as a tight end, ended up on the defensive line. Charlie Johnson was a similar case. But to go from being an offensive line to back to being a skill player, something you got to take pride in. That's not something that a lot of those big guys can take advantage of. You know, I think of a guy like Vincent Taylor. How much would he love to be catching passes? Well, you're not quite Zac Veatch, but, keep trying.
Well, I was going to say there's a lot of linemen who may be jealous of Zac Veatch,
no doubt.
But they haven't eaten their way back to pass catching abilities.
Right, absolutely. And, in terms of gaining all that weight, Veatch basically said it was made all possible for him to do all this position changing because of Rob Glass and the strength and conditioning program, the way that they sort of mold players by positions and body types. But for Veatch, just carrying all that weight just ended up being a bit of too much of a burden because he didn't quite have that frame. But even that being said, in that 2014 season, he was on that offensive line in Bedlam when they had that resurgent performance that kind of kick-started some of this improvement. And, he's certainly part of it now as a Cowboy back.
Yeah, interesting stuff. Thanks for that, Kyle. Look forward to reading that story on Zac Veatch in the Tuesday Oklahoman and on News OK. Be sure to stay with the best coverage team anywhere at newsok.com and every day in the Oklahoman.